We're going 400 nautical miles over 8 days with 0 land stops. Islands are closed, there are strict pandemic restrictions, we're denied anchoring for rest, and encounter some big seas. I'm Stephanie, and this is Travis. Together we bought a Hunter 42 passage that we call Jibsea. We sold almost everything that we owned and moved aboard. After living on Jibsea through a Toronto winter, we decided that we had to get down south. Though we've got very little sailing experience, we decided to leave it all behind in our home country Canada to live out our dream in sailing the world. We're so pumped to share this adventure of a lifetime. This week on Sailing Jibsea, we're taking you along our week-long sail from Saba all the way down to Grenada. We're heading down the 400 nautical miles to Grenada without any land stops in light of varying pandemic travel restrictions. The need for PCR tests within a certain time frame prior to arriving in a country, then another test upon arrival, then quarantining, and then another PCR test post-quarantine at our own expense, only to repeat the process for each island, just isn't feasible. So unfortunately, we're missing a lot of really amazing places we would have loved to explore. In planning our route, we took into consideration the distance we preferred to travel each day before having a night's rest. We asked permission ahead of time from each port authority at various countries we planned on stopping at. Some would reply granting us permission, and some we didn't hear back from, and therefore we just hailed them on the VHF radio upon arrival to request permission to stop for rest. Our first stop is a quick hop, only 17 nautical miles to St. Eustatius, also known as Statia. At the time of our sail, Statia required a PCR test prior to arrival and a 14-day quarantine before being able to depart on land. To signify that we're not formally checked into the country, we hoist our yellow Q or quarantine flag when entering each new port. It's 6:30 a.m. and we're leaving St. Eustatius. Today's goal is Montserrat. So we're hoping to do 80 nautical miles today, which will be probably around 12 hours for us. But we have both sails up. Yay!
We are sailing.
Yeah, that is so nice because we definitely don't want to be motoring all the way to Grenada.
No.
Yesterday we weren't able to catch any wind, sail comfortably, so we motor sailed, but today sails are up as soon as we left the anchorage. So that's always lovely.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. But check out St. Eustatius right now with the sun going over the crater. Super cool.
Beautiful.
Way over there is St. Kitts and Nevis, which we'll be bypassing. It's been really hard trying to pick which islands we're going to stop at, even if it's a quarantine stop. Oh gosh, we're getting healed.
The island effect. We'll be doing a lot of that today. It'll be like consistent through the island, and then near the tip of the island, the wind is going to just wrap around the island and speed up.
Back to what I was saying before the wind picked up. The ever-changing rules and travel protocols have made it tricky in deciding which islands we should stop at, even if it's just to quarantine anchor and sleep for the night. A lot of information found online is pretty gray, most information being directed at air travelers or just being vague in general. Information sharing with cruisers that are just ahead of us was of great help to know exactly what's being done in practice versus what's being published online.
Time to shake another reef out. Blocked by the mountains there. So the winds picked up to like 25 knots and we had to reef the sail right when a fish got on the line. And it ended up just taking all of our line. Now I feel bad that some fish has got 400 feet of line and a hook in its mouth. That was probably our mahi. So, bummer.
We had this backup. It was a lighter test. And now we're gonna unravel this and try to get it on the line or on the reel.
That's all we got left. We gotta make it work. It's a mess.
At the time of our arrival, Montserrat is completely closed. However, they are allowing us to anchor for the night for rest.
We're gonna go around the north side of Montserrat, so then we should have a better wind angle to sail all the way to Guadeloupe. And if the winds are really good, then we may try to sail right to Dominica, but we'll see. But this is pretty. Pretty crazy. Guadeloupe is one of the bigger islands in the Caribbean, and it plays a huge effect on the wind. Like, we just had 20 knots of wind, 60-degree apparent, and about 10 minutes ago it just died. The wind like switched to like 4 knots coming the complete opposite direction, and now there is absolutely no wind. So this island really affects the wind. It's crazy. And now we got a motor. Ooh.
50 nautical miles later and we arrive in Guadeloupe, somewhere that we'd love to come back to explore. At the time of our arrival, the country is completely closed to cruisers and only open for entry to those from certain countries with compelling reasons and prior authorization.
So we made it to Guadeloupe yesterday, spent the night, and now we're off to Dominica. Another 60 nautical miles. But here you go. There's our buddy boat right there, Gizmo. They're winning! Yeah. Nav lights we bought in Salinas after our little accident. They crapped out. Well, Port did, which luckily Port is the only one I still have. So I need to get a nav light going, otherwise, you know, we're gonna be in the dark. So I gotta go put the nav light on, underway. Yeah, the old one crapped the bed.
60 nautical miles to Dominica was the plan, and we knew that quarantine anchoring was allowed on the north end, but we wanted to make more ground and decided to take a chance in requesting permission to anchor on the south end. Unfortunately, our request is denied, and we were prepared for this, so instead of backtracking and motoring north for 4 hours, we're deciding to continue south to Martinique. This country is also completely closed. However, they are allowing us to stay for the night, so long as we're gone by first light. First light, and we're off. 58 nautical miles to St. Lucia today.
This is where we're trying to go. This is where we're heading. The current is pushing us out, but we're as close hauled as we can get. We can't tack this way because then we'll be going 2 knots into the current and the waves to gain no ground to then tack back down. What I'm hoping is once we get down to here, the current actually switches and pushes us a little bit more into a better spot. But we'll see.
That's what we do. So you just follow me.
Yeah.
At the time of our arrival, St. Lucia requires a PCR test ahead of time and a 14-day quarantine. But things literally change by the moment. Our friends who are just a bit behind us are in communication with a contact in a marina on the north end of St. Lucia who said that the rules changed even though they haven't been formally announced. There's no longer a need for quarantining if you're fully vaccinated. For us, just about to pick up our mooring, being a bit more south and having already planned our route, are deciding to stay for the night only and to continue on in the morning. We're happy we're getting to stay here for the night with such a beautiful backdrop.
Just about to leave St. Lucia. What a pretty spot. And we're going to try to make it 60 nautical miles to Bequia. Winds are up in the 20s today, but we're finally getting to go west, so hopefully it'll be kind of almost a beam to a broad sail today, so it should be really nice. Wind's picked up a little bit. Times like this, I wish we had one more reef we could put in there. nice.
After an exciting and eventful 53 nautical miles, we're in Bequia, where we'll be staying for an additional day to wait out some weather. At the time of our arrival, Bequia, which is within St. Vincent and the Grenadines, requires a PCR test prior to arrival and quarantining while awaiting negative results from a PCR test taken upon arrival.
We're on our way right to Grenada today. 66 nautical miles. I'm really hoping today's gonna be a nice, smooth, broad reach. It should be fun. It'll be crazy. We're gonna be in Grenada. So hopefully everything opens up a bit more. So it's not like $1 bajillion to get a COVID test every time you go to a place. That adds up. Yeah, we're sailing. Are you excited to get to Grenada?
It's too early.
Maybe a barracuda. Maybe a little mackerel. Whatever it is, we're eating it. Come on!
Damn it! Wait, are you sure it's a barracuda?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not a mackerel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I see the teeth.
Such a bummer. We finally catch something and it's again a blasted barracuda. How do you feel about that?
Give up.
It's not working out for us. Keep trying though.
We made it to Grenada, finally! And now one last raise of the Q flag for a little while at least.
We're here, and now what do we do?
We're gonna sit tight tonight, and then tomorrow morning we will go figure out what we gotta do to initiate the whole check-in quarantine process. Thanks for sharing in this milestone of ours. We've made it from Toronto, Canada to Grenada in our first season on Jibsea. If you're enjoying our journey, please don't forget to subscribe and share our channel. Seeing that you guys are enjoying our channel is what motivates us to keep sharing. Head on over to our Patreon if you'd like to join this special group who help make our videos possible. Stay tuned for adventures and boat projects from Grenada as we spend most of hurricane season here. Thanks everyone, and see you next week.